Welcome, 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 welcome. Happy Thursday. So I know, well, first of all, yesterday you had the opportunity to meet Abigail. And like she was saying, when we had brought her on board, when we were that fortunate to do so, it was on the condition that she'd never, ever, ever get on live. And as you can see, she's a very to herself type of person. But what we're doing is seriously so exciting. And she has the opportunity to speak to so many or work or email with so many people that we were able to get her yesterday. And that's pretty cool. But I have received so much email talking about, Anthony, you need to have her back on. Anthony, this is a way to convince her to come back on. Anthony, why don't you force her to come back on? Anthony, we'll sign a petition for her to come back on. And I got to tell you, for the first time I'm on this live, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it's me. Wish I could do better. Maybe I'll grow my hair out a little bit, right? See if we could trick everyone a little bit. So that's that. Carl, I do see you on. We did go ahead and cancel the appointment that you had set today because you had set it during the live. That was for the Rhino Marketplace businesses. Oh, okay, good. I know that you're with Abigail tomorrow, 9:30 or some early time. And once you finish that and have the marketplace up, we cannot wait to have you on. So I'm happy that that all made sense. Sounds good. Cool. Michelle, right? How brilliant. And I got to tell you, she really, really kicked butt. So I was home and I'm sitting next to my son who is sleeping on the bed, next to one of our two cats who is sleeping on the bed. And then there's me watching it. And it's funny because she really never did a Zoom before. So she's so super talented, right? And it's almost like she had used her talents in a previous life to get back at the man, right? And what she's learned is to affect the type of change that she'd like to affect, the type of change that Rhino would like to affect in terms of being able to touch a very, very broad community, like a globe. You have to come out the shadows a little bit. So for someone such as her who can code Facebook tomorrow, never use the Zoom. So it was funny watching her where she's like, I don't know which button's which and which button's which. And it brought me back to when I started doing the Zoom. I was like, I don't know really. I hope this works, right? So that was really, really cool. And just to let everyone know, I know she has a special. So when she was on yesterday, I watched, and I know she went ahead and told everyone she's going to give them Rhinocoin, which I had no idea, right? Abigail's Abigail. The answer to Abigail's yes, right? We understand each other that well. So there's never a time that I do something where she's like, I can't believe it, or vice versa. That being said, I had no idea. So I was talking to her this morning and she goes, yeah, Aunt, just let everyone on the live know that's coming to them tomorrow. That I want to spend today making it such a super duper duper presentation that when they receive this gift I'm sending them tomorrow, they'll understand why it took an extra day. Which I gotta tell you, even gets me. I'm like, oh my God, well, I was live, I hope I get one. So I just want to share that with everyone. The coin that she did promise you, I don't know the amount. I don't get involved in that stuff because I also like the experience. I like being on the other side and being surprised and seeing how things go. So hopefully I'll receive it just as I know you will. Yeah, cool mill each. If she sends a cool mill, so this is Rhino, right? If she sent a cool mill each, I would allow it. I would then turn to her and say, are you out of your mind? You can't do that. Now it's already done, and our community, we never take anything from. They got it. But just to let you know, don't ever do that again. And she'll be like, well, I knew I could have done it once, so right? So I really hope that's not the number. Yeah, I hope that's not the number. Also, greetings from Celebrate. Deborah's in the house. So also something that, it's funny because I was talking to my wife about this morning. And so yesterday I left early, which sounds so foreign, right? Like Anthony left early. but it was because Abigail was going to host and she was, really going to do us that honor. Fine. In doing so, my wife then said, okay, well, if you're coming home, then I'll get to go out and do some stuff because she wants to run some errands, get her nails done, stuff like that. Okay, fine. So it's just me and my son and Rhino, which is like all I really want, like my wife too. But like that's where Anthony's heart is. Heart song, like whoever heard that heart song. But anyway, and just going back to Abigail yesterday. Okay, so then my wife goes out, runs her errands, comes home, and she's like, I got a surprise for you. I'm like, I love surprises. What is it? She's like, well, you know how you don't spend a single dollar on yourself? I'm like, yeah. And she goes, you know how like you're just always doing stuff, even and when you're not at work, you're at the gym, and when you're not at the gym, you're at work, and when you're not doing either, you're eating your face off and then falling asleep. I go, that was a little rude, but yeah, sure. She goes, I got you a massage at the nice place down the block. I was like, get out of town. So I actually went for a massage yesterday. The point of the story is in being like, I can't sit in a room and not think, right? Like I'm the worst person to get a massage. I'm not the person that sits there and is like, oh yeah, these muscles. I'm like, oh, finally like a quiet place. I could think freely. No one's bothering me. And bother's not the right word, but like where you're just free. Like no one could contact you. Like your phone, your watch, everything is in a locker. Okay, cool. So as I'm sitting there getting this massage, and of course, I probably should be like relaxing, but I was thinking, I came up with a really, really good idea. And like we've always said, everything goes from 1.0, 2.0 to 3.0. And the search engine, which is really one of our most valuable assets, and I'll walk everyone through why it's so valuable. Most people know, but we do have a lot of people on that weren't on before, is at a 2.0 stage. Everyone remembers when it came out as a 1.0, it was just a search bar. There was no coding to it. It worked, but it didn't, and whatever. Then we went ahead and did a whole bunch of coding and did an SEO overhaul on our own site, right? Like on our own site that hosts all the marketplace companies, we went through every marketplace company, came up with 50 different keywords that are SEO related, then took those, coded it into our algorithm, and our search engine is actually fully functional and only shows results of our companies. Therefore, if you go on Rhino and said, okay, I'm looking for a guitar company, and you typed in guitar, you'd come up with a guitar company, which is pretty cool because that allows our marketplace to grow to infinity. Because if the customer journey is customer, search engine, company, then it doesn't matter how many companies there are, because the search engine will identify that company. The challenge is that we got to make sure that we're constantly on top of it and constantly upgrading the search engine and all the SEO so that the customer has a seamless journey to the company. Therefore, we can then grow as many customers as we want, and we can grow as many companies as we want. It's a search engine that is the gateway that allows everything to run. So that's on a 2.0 stage. But in identifying that, we then realize, okay, we really need to put more focus into the search engine. So by the end of next week, you're going to see a 3.0 search engine. And it was funny. So I was talking to my wife this morning about the idea. And she's like, Aunt, you're going to mention it today. And I'm like, no, I'm not, because it's not ready. And she goes, yes, you are. And I go, no, I'm not. And it reminds me of, I was watching an episode of The Office. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it, but it's one of my favorite shows. And the office manager, who is played by Steve Carell, I forgot his name. Someone tell me, because everyone watches The Office. Michael, right? Michael, is it? Anyway, so Steve Carell is the office manager, and he finds out that somebody in the office is having an affair, Stanley. And Stanley's having an affair with a girl named Trina, I think. No, Cheryl. He's having an affair with a girl named Cheryl, and his wife's name's Linda. So he goes ahead and calls Stanley's wife earlier in the day to see if she really is out of town, so he could verify if he's having the affair or not. So after Steve Carell finds out that the affair is happening, then the wife calls back into the office to return the call that she missed. So he's sitting in the office, and someone in front of him is like, don't pick it up. You're going to say something stupid. He goes, no, I'm not. I'm going to come up with a story of why I called. He's like, don't pick it up. You know you're going to say it. He goes, no, I know I won't say anything. He picks up the phone to Linda and goes, hi, Cheryl. Oh, damn it. no, Cheryl, and hangs up. And the point being that he didn't have that filter. Like when something was exciting to him or something was top of mind, he just wanted to share it, wanted to get it out. And I felt like my wife was talking to me like that this morning, but there's a reason why she's my wife, because she knows me really, really well. So I want to share the idea with you. And she's on this and she's probably laughing, and that's okay, right? So the 3.0 version of the search engine, and like we said, and as you go through the 2022 outlook that we have on the website, you'll see that there is a month, I think it's March, that we're going to start doing ad spend to the search engine, because at that point, we believe we'll have over 100 companies in the marketplace. We'll have the search engine built out enough that you'll be able to functionally type something and come up with a company. And then we need to really test it. And the only way you can test anything is by putting it out there. I feel bad. I think that's what it is. I feel bad for people who believe that the journey to success is done on paper and pencil in a laboratory. It's not. Yes, the idea comes up. Yes, you plan it out, but you got to get it out there. You got to let people try it. You got to let people touch it, look at it, touch it, taste it, feel it, and then take what they say and then apply it. So that's the goal in March, to go ahead and start getting some ad spending, getting people using the search engine, and find some type of mechanism to engage with them. Hey, if you don't like the search engine, tell us why you hate it here, right? Like let's have people tell us why they hate us. And that's really cool. Like, I hope they do. I hope they say, well, I pressed this button and this didn't work. I did this and this didn't work. And I did this and this didn't work. And instead of me saying, oh, well, darn you, I'm going to say, okay, great. Abigail, okay, this didn't work, let's fix it. This didn't work, let's fix it. And then you'll have 10 comments, then 8 comments, then 7 comments, until eventually you have no comments because everyone likes it. And then you write, tell us why you love the search engine. Oh, I love this feature. I love that feature. I love this feature. Abigail, I love that. I love that. Let's do more of it. Let's do more of it. And after a month of that, you have a great search engine, right? Like, poof. Sure, we're smart. We can come up with what we believe it should be, but I'll tell you. So that flip book that we did way back when, I don't know how many people remember it, but it was a bunch of pictures in rapid succession of like really hateful things, like whether it's Hitler or Mark Zuckerberg or this or that or Congress, with a nice music behind it. And we loved it. Like we thought it was the coolest thing. We thought it was the bee's knees. Everyone hated it. Everyone. And we tried our hardest to keep it going. Everyone hated it. And we looked at each other and we said, you know what? We have to put our opinion aside. We have to put our pride aside. Not everything we do is perfect. We thought it was great. And maybe that makes us such good partners, that we both collectively were the only ones in the entire universe that thought it was great, which at least means, okay, you found the person you could work well with, right? Anyway, point of the story is that's what we need to do to the search engine. Now, to get it from where it is now to where it's going to be, we still have some improvement to do, because what the search engine is now, it's on the Rhino Marketplace homepage, right? So you type in Rhino Marketplace, you come up to Rhino Marketplace, you have all the marketplace companies, you have the search engine on top. Well, that's not very sleek or swanky, right? Like, for instance, if you knew nothing about Rhino, would you come to this like website that has all these companies? Yeah, I get it. There's companies there. And the search engine's up here somewhere, and then type it. See, it's like that page, Rhino Marketplace, is great for when you're on Rhino. Like when you know Rhino and you know who Rhino is, and you go to the marketplace page and you scroll through the companies because you're looking for yours or you're looking for someone else's, and it's just cool. And even more so than that, it might actually be even cooler for us because we're constantly trying to show all the companies. See, at this stage of the game, we have to allow people to feel comfortable. We have to allow people to feel confident. Hey, look, I gave them my information. I went ahead and wanted this company. It's now existing. I now see it. I now can click it. Great. Cool. It is those people that we need in the beginning, because after you have, say, 50, 60, 70, 100 people that you built and earned their confidence, then the next 100 people, you don't need to go the lengths that you went for the first 100 people, because the second 100 people say, well, I don't really need them to convince me that much. I see 100 people are really happy. They must be doing something well. Therefore, let me give it a shot, right? Like you walk in New York City, see one person staring up, you think nothing of it. You walk in New York City, see 100 people staring up, you look up too. The only difference is the perception you had going into it. The perception when you see a big group of people doing something is that whether good or bad, it's something that you should be doing and you can have confidence in doing, because if it's something that's harmful, everyone would have been harmed collectively, and that goes against human nature. Why would everyone collectively do something that they knew was going to harm them? Therefore, if you see a lot of people doing something, you could be quite comfortable that at least humanly, it shouldn't harm you, right? So that's like, we have the steps in place. That being said, what's Rhino search engine 3.0 look like? So I went ahead this morning and I made a purchase, and I was so happy to do it. And the purchase was $18.99. So those that know me know, like, that's a purchase. Like, Anthony loves those purchases because Anthony hates spending money. Rhinostreet.com. Now, if we want to go ahead and compete on a large scale with our search engine, we do have some advantages. The advantages being, there is no search engine that exists in the entire globe for mom and pop businesses, for small businesses, for the 99% that are all competing with each other to go ahead and survive in this globe, right? And survive might sound like a really, hyperbolic word. But when 1% of the world owns 99% of the wealth, then the other 99% are all scratching and clawing with each other for what? To like go from lower class to higher lower class. The middle class is being completely wiped out because you have small businesses being wiped out left and right via COVID. And now that COVID is kind of over, is it over? It's flu-rona. Like, these people are like, don't get me started. But anyway, now small businesses have to operate in an economy that's over leveraged. Inflation is through the roof, and you have so much competition to hire anyone, right? Because every company has a shortage of labor, hence the inflation. The more money chasing less goods and services, meaning the price of each good and service goes up because there's more money. That goes for labor as well. So when you're going ahead and paying, all right, I need to pay you 20 an hour, 22 an hour, 23 an hour, that doesn't come down the next day. You don't pay an employee $22 an hour and then a month later say, okay, well, inflation came down, now we're only paying you 18. That stays there, meaning that labor cost goes into your overhead cost, which means the overhead cost goes into your profit margins, which means the profit margins go into your wholesale cost, and then your retail cost, and then your retail price. So if I buy a pencil for $1 and I want to sell it for 100% profit, I have to sell it for $2. If the people I hire to go ahead and sell those pencils cost me, 10 cents an hour, well, to make 100% profit, it's $1 for a pencil, it's 10 cents for the hour of labor, that's $1.10 cost. If I want to make 100%, I now need to sell it for $2.20, right? Well, what if that 10 cents labor now goes to 50 cents labor? Now it's $1 for the pencil, 50 cents for the labor, $1.50 cost. If I want to make 100% profit, I now need to sell at $3. Therefore, the inflation, the increase in price of goods and services is a sticky number that's going to continue to go higher because the labor cost, which then equals the rent cost, all those things that you stay in for years, is now protruding or absorbing or whatever word going through the entire economy. So if you are a small business that just got out of COVID and you don't have a business, you now have to compete in a market where you have to purchase goods and services for much higher than you remember. You have to hire people for much more than you ever remember giving them. And you got to go ahead and compete in a global economy where everyone's able to go on a computer, buy their goods and services there, with the added fear that one day everyone's going to lock down the economy again because some politician, don't get me started, but Corona, for your own safety, you need to stay in your home, right? So how can you actually really start a business like that? Like, that's kind of difficult. Therefore, what about those people? That's 99% of the population. That's a really big amount of people that are like, Okay, so what? I guess I'm just going to be dependent on big business. Please give me a job. Like, tell me I can have a half-hour lunch, or I'm going to be dependent on big government. Please give me an enhanced unemployment check. Like, otherwise I'm going to die. Is that where my life is? Is that where I want to be? And the answer is no, right? But what's the solution to that? Well, it's actually quite bigger, and it's almost quite intimidating when someone says a new economy, right? So when you think of an economy, you think of like, okay, it's this big thing and you can't just make it, but you can. And you're thinking it's this big thing, they don't just come around, but they do. The thing is, it's time and place, right? So you could be living in an economy that starts up, that's new, that's getting better, that's good, that has bumps along the way, goes up, goes down. And that time period is usually like 50 years, 70 years, 100 years. And your lifetime maybe is not that long. And you're like, okay, well, this is the economy I'm in and this is the one I'm doing. But when that economy changes, or when it has the opportunity to create a new economy, it's only to the people that are in the right place at the right time in that moment in history that say, okay, this is a good idea. This is a part of what we're going to do. And what we maintain is that we don't want to scare anyone by being so intimidating with the language. All right, we're creating a new economy. But essentially we are, right? So what's Rhino actually doing? Rhino built out a platform that welcomes everyone. Okay, great. You welcome everyone. Cool. In welcoming everyone, we're created a marketplace atmosphere for everyone that we welcomed. Okay, great. There's a marketplace. Cool. For everyone that we welcomed, those that have existing businesses, we move it over to the marketplace. For everyone that we welcome, those that do not have existing businesses, we ask them what their greatest business idea is, what's something that excites them, and we then create that business for them and put them on the marketplace. Okay, great. So we're starting to get somewhere. We see that we have a very large population we could identify. We see that we have a very receptive offer for them, and we see that we're bringing everyone to one place. Okay, great. Now, how are we funding that? Like, where does the money come to do that? Because we're not charging anyone anything, and we refuse to. We will not take a dollar from a single person that we're looking to help out. That's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs to me. There's no way it even makes sense to say, I'm going to help you with your finances, pay me. Well, I need help with finances. I don't have that much, and now I'm going to pay you. All right, so let me do this calculation. I'm having less money because I'm giving it to you on the hope that you have this like wizardry idea that's going to give me more money in the future. And then how do I trust that you're not just going to take it from me? Like, that makes no sense. But a lot of people do it. In fact, there's a whole digital economy based on it, right? So we don't charge anyone anything for anything. No, because what we believe is in distributive marketing. It is a term, it is a marketing that we invented. The idea is that we want to market to you, right? Like, we're marketing to you. Please come to Rhino. Please, 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 please. Okay, great. But how are we bringing you to Rhino? We're giving you everything. We're distributing everything to you. Because the belief is that if our product or service and or idea is so great that by giving it to you, by simply giving it to you, you're going to say, wow, this is wonderful. I want to stay here. This experience is amazing. This experience is wonderful. Not only am I enjoying it, but people are going to thank me for sharing this with them. So I'm going to share it with everyone. Now what happens? You have people that are loyal to the platform, that are retained. They want to stay there. They have a high retention. And they're outside sharing with other people. Why don't you come in? This is what they're doing. They're doing something great. Come, come, come. What ends up happening? You then have a population that's growing organically. It's a big population. And because it speaks to everyone, it's a population that could grow exponentially. There's no one that it doesn't speak to because the offer is so receptive to everyone. So at the end of the day, if we have 1 million people and we charge 1 million people $37, we have $37 million. Great. But what did you do? You're now charging people. Now people are actually paying you to be a part of this. All right, so maybe they want to, maybe they don't, but now you're in competition with other programs and other platforms that are going to charge them. Now you're in competition with what their own personal finances is. Now you're in competition with what their thought process is, what their behavior is in that moment. Can you keep them? Will you lose them? Are they going to share with other people? And you better be so good that you could go ahead and morph to the economy and morph to everything as it's changing. So that's what you did. If you have 1 million people and you charge them $37 each. 37 million, congratulations. Or you can have 1 million people in charge of nothing. And you could simply just keep giving them everything that you think is high value to them. And in doing so, they simply say, I love this. I've never been a part of anything like this. To be a part of this, where everyone is seriously taking care of me and making sure that everything's okay, and I have to ask for nothing, and I'm part of something that's bigger than I ever thought I could be. I want to be here. I want to share with other people. What are those 1 million people worth? Well, a lot. If you have 1 million people that are dedicated and loyal to what you're doing, well, now you have 1 million people you can mobilize in any direction. And that's not to be confused with, hey, I say jump, now jump. But no, let's say there's a particular company, there's a particular product, there's a particular anything. Hey guys, do you like this stuff? Hey, you want to go to this restaurant? Hey, do you want to go do this charity? The point is, when you go ahead and take purchasing power and behavior and multiply it by a large population, that is worth something far more than any one single person in that population can give you. In fact, if in that same example, if you had 1 million people and they gave you 1,000 each, what's that come out to? 1 billion? Is that still worth more than a 1 million people that simply say, no, we act in unison. Whatever happens, we do it together. And I just don't think it is. So, and we're going to go ahead and prove that, right? So now, how is the platform financed is what we're trying to get to. How is the money coming in to go ahead and be able to afford giving everyone all of these services? Because I think everyone knows us, and especially seeing Abigail yesterday, especially seeing me every day, especially seeing the things we do. We're not the type, we don't even have it in our mentality to be like, all right, cool, what's the cheapest way we could do this? Let's just give them this stuff so they can, like, be satisfied. That makes me want to throw my computer out a window. It makes me want to flip this desk. That will never be the case, and you know that not to be the case. Therefore, the websites we make, the services we offer, everything that we do is such to a top level, is such to a high standard. What do you think? People's salaries are free? What do you think? The work that we offer has $0 amount? Do you think my labor is just like I have nothing to do all day? I just choose to do this because, like, I'm bored. All of it has a real cost. How do we go ahead and afford that, right? Well, that's where Rhinocoin comes in. Rhinocoin is the first time that we were able, or that really anyone has been able to capture the value of population. What do I mean by that? In January 2023, all transactions on the Rhino platform will be closed in Rhinocoin. Now, what do I mean by that, right? Does that mean that you as a business owner on Rhino Marketplace have to accept coin and then have coin, and then what do you do with the coin? No, we're going to make it so frictionless and friendly, right? So by then we would have coded out a Rhino wallet. That wallet will be on every one of our Rhino businesses. So if you're a business that sells t-shirts and you sell $100 in t-shirts, you're going to collect $100 in t-shirts. The person that buys the t-shirts from you is going to give you $100 through their Visa, debit, MasterCard, whatever. You're going to go ahead and collect the $100. Everything's fine. Nothing's ever changed. That's exactly how it's done in the history of the world. Okay, but now there's an additional step. The point is, in creating that step in addition, it doesn't affect or interfere with the buying and selling behavior, or like the commerce behavior. Everyone's comfortable. Upon coming into that $100, it then gets converted into Rhinocoin by that $100 automatically purchasing the Rhinocoin on the free market. By then, we would have been registered and on the Coinbase platform and Kraken and Binance. It's a coin that everyone will be able to buy and sell. Fine. Which means every transaction on the Rhino platform equals a buy for Rhinocoin. Okay. Well, Anthony, you're missing the other half of this, right? Like, if people are buying a coin, like, I'm a business owner. Yeah, I didn't take $100 in coin, but I have $100 in coin. I had $100, and before I could even touch it, it turned into $100 in coin. What do? Well, like I said, because it's a free platform, and then because it's a free market that will be registered on, you can buy and sell coin any way you could, right? Like, you go on your Coinbase, I buy Bitcoin, I sell Bitcoin, right? Very, very simple, and you could do it like that. Meaning, when the purchase is complete and the $100 comes to you and then goes to the $100 to buy Rhinocoin, and your account has $100 in Rhinocoin, what can you then do? Well, you can then go ahead and redeem it immediately. Okay, well, I have $100 in Rhinocoin. I want $100 in cash. bing, 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 zing, zoom, bung. And I'm not sure those are the actual like sound effects that will happen, but it sounds like some good ones, right? It does seem to explain what I'm trying to say. You can go ahead and redeem the coin immediately for the $100. Therefore, there's no detriment to you, right? Like there's no botherance, there's no interference in the way you conduct your business. Okay, so Anthony, if the coin goes up because you buy it, doesn't it go down because you sell it? Yeah. So if you buy $100 in Rhino coin, it goes up. If you sell $100 in Rhino coin, it goes down. Well, then how does any transactions actually affect the value of Rhino coin if it's just buying and selling? Well, two things, right? When you go at, so volume. So things are, so when you go ahead and price anything, you have a couple of different variables, right? Like what's the supply of it? What's the demand of it? And what's the number of those two, right? So if I have one apple and I have one buyer, then whatever that person pays for the apple is the market price of the apple. Okay. Well, if there's only one buyer, then why would I ever own apples, right? Like, so I wouldn't put my wealth in apples if there's only one person that's going to buy it, because if I go ahead and get 10 apples and this person feels like only eating one apple that day, I have 9 apples that I can't convert into anything. Like I can't convert into any type of monetary thing where I can then go pay my rent. So my apples are worth more if there's a large market that's liquid, that facilitates many transactions, which has a high volume, right? So let's say there's like 1 billion people that buy apples all day. Well, then I could go ahead and get apples for as far as the eye can see. I know that I could sell those apples. I know that I could get 1 million apples and I can sell them that second, that day. There's an extra value for apples if I know I can buy and sell them for money in a blink of an eye, that I'm that confident in their ability to be redeemed. That's called volume, right? So when you have a coin that's being bought and sold, it doesn't matter if it's the same exact growing numbers, because as the platform grows, there's more transactions, which uses more buys and sells for the coin. That increases the value of the coin because it increases the confidence of anyone that they can hold the coin and buy and sell at their will. They could just go ahead and do it. Fine, that's a good thing. Now, if that's the case, and the coin is being valued by the purchases on the platform, and the volume adds into the value, and the transactions are going up because the platform's growing, well, it stands fair to reason that that coin is going to go up in value, that it's going to become more valuable as the platform continues growing. That's correct. Okay, yeah, well, let me get this straight then. If I'm a company on the marketplace and I sell $100 in shirts, do I need to redeem all $100 of the coin? What if I just redeemed like $90 of it? I kept 10 of the coin aside, redeemed the other 90 so that I could be a participant in the value of it going up. Am I allowed to do that? Bling, bling, bling. That's the name of the game. The answer is yes, first of all. But with all of those things that we just shared, if on top of that, you have a global platform where the companies are then electing to keep Rhino coin on their balance sheets as an investable asset, then they're always buying more than they're ever selling, which means there's always more buying than selling, plus increase in volume and transactions, which means a coin is really going to go up for quite some time. Now, if the coin is shared, now who's the market, right? Like, okay, Ant, yeah, there's this coin that goes up, but like it doesn't affect the tea price in China, right? Like who cares? Rhino coin goes up. Who's Rhino? Who does Rhino touch? Well, let's go back to the beginning. Rhino is the 99% of the population that are all scrapping and clawing for that 1%, while the 1% have the 99% of the goods and services. Yeah, Ant, that's a cute sentence, but you didn't answer the question. Who's Rhino? Every and anyone. Anyone can come to Rhino, submit their business or submit their business idea, or I'll give you one better. In a month's time, we're going to be creating businesses and handing them out, which means everyone can come on the platform, which means if you're from America, if you're from Canada, if you're from Malaysia, if you're from Cambodia, if you're from Quebec, if you're from Australia, if you're from New Zealand, you could be on Rhino. Now let's get back to the beginning. Well, if this is such a great offer for people, remember this whole distributive marketing thing, And these people then tell other people, it stands fair to reason that you're actually global. Like no matter what pocket of the globe that you operate in, it's going to spread because people are going to share this word of mouth. Yes. Okay. All right, now, let me get this straight. But I'm still trying to figure this out. Okay, so this coin's going to be worth a whole lot of money. And yeah, that sounds great. You know what would make this coin worth more, Ann? I see what you're doing. You know what would make this really, really super duper duper? If everyone owned the coin, right? Like I understand you're giving people businesses and you're making sales for them and all that stuff. But the real money sounds like it's in the coin. Wouldn't it be great if everyone on the whole platform owned coin so that everyone could participate together? Yeah, I get it, Ann. I know by doing that, it means that Rhino has less coin and you're going to be less profitable. But I think it might be a good idea. Well, I think that's a great idea. It's such a great idea that we thought of it like a long time ago. Rhino does not care how profitable Rhino is. Rhino's going to make $1 billion and not even have to blink an eye to do it. That's the easy part. Rhino does not want to make $1 trillion because if Rhino makes $1 trillion, Rhino has a big target on their head and we don't care for that. There's nothing I could do in this world with $1 billion, with $1 trillion that I can't do with $1 billion. Right? So I don't really care. And plus all the money's probably gonna go to charity anyway. This is just a fun game that we're playing. And I like being the hero in other people's lives. So what are we gonna do? Well, to think about Rhino as a profitable entity based on me, it's kind of backwards. I don't own Rhino. Everyone owns Rhino. In fact, every member of Rhino gets 50 Rhino coin every single month. We give everyone 50 coin every single month. We then allow everyone to purchase more coin at like this managed market where it's 1 cent, then 2 cents, then 3 cents, then 4 cents, all the way till January 2023, where the coin then becomes on a free floating platform, a free floating currency, where the actual supply and demand dynamics take over and actually price the coin at a much higher amount where it probably should be. And on top of that, well, actually, I'll get to that in a second, but okay, so if we give everyone the coin, so, okay, Ann, let me get this straight. You're welcoming anyone to a platform where you're allowing them to bring their business and or make them their own business idea. Like you're going to do the website, the logo, the emails, everything, their dream idea. And then if they don't have that, you're going to build a business and actually just give it to people. And then you're going to give them the coin. And then the coin goes up in value based on the transactions within the platform. But to go ahead and get people to transact with each other, that's the difficult part, and that's the part I don't get, right? Like if I'm on the platform, how do I know Mike has a guitar company? Like, how would I ever know that? In fact, it's just easier to go on Google, like Google guitar, and then I could find which company makes sense to me. You know, and if you had something like that, if Rhino was able to do that, then like I see where you can scale. Welcome to Rhino search engine. That's exactly what the search engine does. You can go ahead and type anything in that search engine and the results are only the companies on Rhino. Therefore, it allows everyone on Rhino that's interested in not only supporting the platform, but supporting their own value of their coin to go ahead and actually participate just in that, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go on Rhino search engine. I'm going to type in it. I'm going to find what I want. And anything that I find by me transacting with that is an automatic buy for the coin that then makes it go up in value. So if everyone did that, what would you have? Now we go back to the beginning of the conversation. You would have your own economy. If you can grow something where the population supports within all transacts in the same currency and all is supportive of growing everyone collectively, because the power that everyone then has equally and the value and the wealth that everyone grows equally, that is an economy. Therefore, we can grow the world's first global digital economy that everyone's a participant in, that no one person's bigger than anybody else. And that's what Rhino is. So when you go ahead and start adding up all of this stuff, you get to very big numbers. So let me bring it back to the Rhino search engine 3.0, right? So what is it? So for us to be able to take that next step, we do need to be able to compete with Google and Yahoo and all these other companies. And I know that sounds crazy. Yeah, like they're really big and you're really small. Well, A, I'm not that small, but I get the point, right? But here's the thing. We're not competing with them on money. We're not competing with them on technology. Where are we competing with them on? How do you compete with Google? Well, Google is worth zero if no one searches on Google. Rhino would be, the Rhino search engine would be worth nothing if no one searches on Rhino. Therefore, if you can say that's equal to both people, then you can compete equally. You can compete fairly. But you have to know the competition. Where is the competition? The competition is in the new person. The person that comes to their computer that wants to search something, they're going to type in google.com, yahoo.com, AOL.com, or rhinostreet.com, right? Rhino Street, like Anthony, that didn't even sound cool, right? Rhino Street. Okay, stay with me here. Well, first of all, rhino.com doesn't exist and Rhino Search doesn't exist. So we're being a little creative, but that's okay. That's what we do. We see a challenge and we say, bring it on, right? So rhinostreet.com. Okay, what's rhinostreet.com? First of all, don't click it because we just own the URL. We didn't do anything with it. But rhinostreet.com will be this wonderful, sleek looking, lovely page that looks just like Google. It'll be a nice white background, everything with a search engine, with a search bar right in the middle of it. And then you will search, and that search will yield you results that are all from Rhino. Sounds pretty simple. Cool. Well, how do we get people to go search there? Well, again, the competition. What's our competition? You might say, well, Ant, your $100,000 versus Google's $1 trillion, or versus MSN's $1 billion, or AOL or Yahoo's billions of dollars. How can you compete? And that's not the competition. They're all the same thing. Every one of those companies is owned by Wall Street. Wall Street owns Google. Wall Street owns Yahoo. Wall Street owns Bing and Microsoft. Wall Street owns MSN. Wall Street owns all of that nonsense, right? So if you want a Wall Street search engine, there you go. Well, what's the alternative to a Wall Street search engine? How about Rhino Street? What's Rhino Street? Now imagine if you had an ad or some type of media event or an awareness campaign that truly showed who Rhino was. Now you've seen the Wall Street video and you know who we are, right? We fight for the person that has been kicked and has not kicked, right? Like everyone's been kicked, but that's not worth fighting for. If you get kicked, good. Like I don't really like, that's a you thing. If you don't get back up though, that's what we fight for. For the people that don't have a fair chance, that don't actually have an equal opportunity, those are the people we fight for. Because despite anything that you do, you're not going to be successful because it's not fair. Those are the people we fight for. Can we come up with a ad campaign of regular people that COVID got this taken away, or this got taken away, or they don't have this fairness, or blah, 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 and say, this is Rhino, and take a look at someone, tell their story, put them in a house, the next person put them in a house, 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 all compared to Wall Street, where you look at those people, put them in a house, put those people in a house, and then you sit at a road with a crossroads, Wall Street or Rhino Street. Where do you want to search? The point is, I thought of all this today. So everything that I just shared with you, nobody knows except for my wife and Abigail if she read the memo I sent her. But this idea is going to develop. That's the 1.0 of the 3.0 idea. By the end of next week, I'm going to have this idea really more developed. That's going to be our ad campaign. That's going to be what we're going to disseminate all over the place. That's what our Rhino team, right? Like we have almost 600 Rhinos from all over the world. It's going to be on you to go ahead and share that message. Share, 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 share. Because guess what? This is the goal. You know how like Google, you could have as your homepage, like when you sign on, I think it's called homepage, right? Like you pull up your search, you pull up your internet browser and google.com is the first thing that comes up. What about when we go ahead and actually get people to put rhinostreet.com as their homepage, which means every time someone opens up a computer and they go to search something, it searches only our companies. Now, again, this is all something that's growing. It's moving parts. We need to have more companies come in. We need to have more audience come in. We need to go ahead and make the messaging. We need to build out the search, all of this stuff. But this is what we're doing. So I always say to you, I have 6.0, 7.0, 8.0 already in my head. We're at 2.0 now. I have Metaverse at 13.0 in my head. In fact, if you look right there, which you can't see, maybe I'll turn this if I get up, Metaverse, Rhino, Venn diagram, Rhinocoin in the middle, right? Like things are happening. So I just want to share that with you. And I said I wasn't going to, but I did, right? Okay, cool. So I think that brings me to, actually, let me look at the chat first, right? So I see long messages. Mike, any ideas on how we're going to engage people that just want to be part of Rhino and take advantage of the Rhino offers, but not run any businesses? Let them. So like when you say take advantage, I don't want to read that derogatory, right? Like these people are taking advantage of us. No, we cannot create something that says, okay, if you want to use this, we need to get something from you. If we just give everyone an amazing experience, things just tend to work out, right? Like I remember when I was bartending, and I did bartend for a little bit, and I would work with other bartenders, and they'd be like, that guy only gave me $1. Can you believe that, a-hole? And I would say, are you only getting a tip from one person, or are you getting a tip from everyone all night? You're going to have a couple people that don't contribute to the bottom line. But if you just keep friendly and you keep doing everything the right way, everyone else will contribute to the bottom line. So what I would say to that is we're going to offer the best service, the best experience to everyone. We're never going to ask anyone for anything because we truly believe that the experience that we're going to offer people and allowing them and the experience that they see everyone is getting is going to make them want to be a part of it. And that population is worth more than any one of them could have given us to begin with. So that's my answer to that. All right, Letty, I need some advice on becoming an owner. Should I book a call with you or Abigail? Book it with Abigail. Only because she's going to walk you through like what is actually needed. As it pertains to you having an existing business, it sounds like you don't, fine. If you have a business idea, which by the way, let me just pull it up real quick. Actually, I can just type it here, right? So rhinomarketplace.com. So when you go to rhinomarketplace.com, Letty, oh, it says you do. Okay, you'll see at the top, join marketplace, click that button, and you'll have a very simple form. Just fill it out. So your existing business, share it. Your business idea, share it. If you do not have one of those two, which I know you said you do, but I'm just speaking out loud or thinking out loud, I guess we're going to start making businesses for people. So just like, all I can say is just be a part of it. Just be there, be in there. Hey, thanks, Tanj. Hey, Tanj's last name is still her old last name, yuck. All right, so Mike, if you then buy directly with Rhino coins, you can get 20% discount. So more people will buy Rhino coins to take advantage of the offer. Nah, I don't want to, because the thing is, everything has to be scalable, right? So when we start making individual, okay, well, for these people, we're going to do this, but for these people, we do this, without even knowing it, you start building this like hierarchical system where it's like, no, those are those people. Like, for instance, I know everyone does email marketing, right? And I used to work with people that did a lot of email marketing. And you could tag your list any way you want, right? Like, these are the people that open, these are the people that are clicks, like those are the clickers, those are the openers, these are the people that don't really open anything. The point is, once you do that, you then put yourself in a position that you now know that these are 3 different behaviors, therefore you should interact with them differently. Like for the people that are your clickers, you know they're going to open it. So you're going to make this most amazing, like white glove. Hey guys, I love how supportive you are of me. You guys are amazing. I have this thing for you. Like, you're welcome. Cool. And you know they're going to be receptive to it because they already like you. For the people that are openers, you're going to be a little more aggressive because they're not your clickers. Hey, openers, like, oh my God, this one time I have this for you. You have to, right? Okay. Now for the people that don't open anything, they're your non-openers. Those people you're going to be super aggressive with because you already know to your head, what do you have to lose? They haven't opened anything already. They're not going to open anything. If they do open it, I'm going to smash them. Hey, buddy, you haven't opened a single thing. You know how much you missed out on? You missed out on this, and this. You better act now. And if you could get any of them to act, you made something more than zero. The point is, despite everyone's most noble intentions, I think that's just human behavior. And I'm not going to ever be a part of segmenting people out because A, I don't think it's right. B, I can't guarantee my behavior as per the segmentations. And C, I'm really, really well thought in this. And if I can't guarantee my own behavior, I certainly can't guarantee anyone else's behavior, and I'm not going to let that happen. So that's cool. All right. So I guess let's go to the website, right? Like, let's take a look around with our last 10 minutes or last 9 minutes. So let's start in google.com. Let's go ahead and really take advantage of their search engine for a while. But since we were talking about, so this will say Rhino. It'll be in Rhino green, of course. We'll have our search engine. I don't know. I guess we'll have 2 little buttons here. We'll have something over here. We're going to just, so I think there's a difference between allowing someone else's design to inspire you and plagiarizing, right? Like, this is clean and beautiful. Google did not invent the color white. Google did not invent sleek. Google did not invent buttons. So we can do these things, right? If we take each letter and make them a different color, then I understand Google might be a little bit upset. Otherwise, they just have a really good idea that we'd like to go ahead and take, right? Let me see the chat. Oh, sorry, Mike. So Mike's from, I think, Sweden. Is it, Mike? And language barriers. Yeah. I hear they have great massages over there. So that's just my 2 cents. Anyway, so let's go to Google. So distributive marketing, right? Yep. All right, so we're obviously number 1. I don't even need to look far. Rumors, right? So you go to distributive marketing. And here's our site. So you come to the marketplace, and that's always, like I'll say, is the engine. So we always see these numbers increasing. So remember before when we talked about organic growth? Has anyone seen an ad campaign on TV or anything for Rhino yet? No. Has anyone seen me giving live presentations anywhere? No. This has all been organic. This is all completely credited to all of our Rhino members, which is you. Look at this, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 47 companies. And remember I said guitar? Who wants to learn guitar? Boom, easy guitar basics, right? You know how cool it is to have a guitar? You know how cool it is that our search engine allows something as a niche as a guitar? Now, going forward, this is going to disappear. I don't like all of our keywords right there. This needs to be hidden. So that's going to be the only change in the marketplace coming up. But you can see the search engine works, right? So Tangi, she's a business owner. She owns that business. Leon, he's a business owner. He owns this business. I want to get merchant accounts, right? Well, there's a business that does merchant accounts, right? Like, I want to help with SEO stuff. Don does that. This does that. That does that. I want to work with an agency, right? I have agencies here. It's really, really cool and really great what we're doing. So here's the marketplace link. I know Tanj put that over there before, but let's go ahead and do it like 10 times. Please, if you are not on the marketplace, if I can express to you how important it is, please get on the marketplace. All right. Where do I want to go? Oh, let's go to partner. Also, in growing your coin, we also offer a rewards program for being a partner of Rhino. Now, I'm already a partner of Rhino, duh. So here's my information. But if you were not a part of Rhino, by clicking this link, you would come up to a page that is asking you for your name and your email to be a partner. Upon becoming a partner of Rhino, anyone you share Rhino with, you'll receive 10 Rhino coin in reward. We go ahead and reward that coin at the beginning of every month. So we're coming up to, well, actually, we're already in the middle of this month. But if anyone remembers, Frida got what, 12,000 coin last month? And we credited, I think, over 100 people with coins. So that was a really good thing. To go ahead and be the best partnership program, we went ahead and took the extra steps to actually write copy for you. So if you went ahead and said, okay, and I'll do this whole partnership thing, but I don't really want to spend my time coming up with a message to write to someone, here you go. It's already here. And you're able to simply copy and paste this because this link right here is already coded with your affiliate stuff, right? So let's see, copy this link, open up new page, boom. What will you see? LDDY.no, that's the site, right? Now 133BO, 13CBO is my affiliate code. How do I know that? Let's take a look. It's right here. So that's the same with Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, text messaging, LinkedIn, Instagram. We even have it for banner ads. You could go ahead and take this HTML and put it onto your website. And how about if you're on Pinterest? You want to pin this? Great. We did all the copy. It's already coded with your affiliate code. So if you were so inclined to say, Ant, you know what? I like what you're doing. I don't really want to buy any coin. I'm getting the 50 free coin. But God forbid, this is the thing that actually makes sense because you actually seem like you care and you're working. I'm going to spend 3 minutes and click every one of these buttons and just press submit on all of them. And I'm going to be able to share this with my whole entire ecosystem. Duh, why wouldn't I, right? That's Rhino Partnership Program. Lastly, I think what I would like to show you, and tomorrow we're going to share the charity page. We already shared what it was, but it's being upgraded for tomorrow and all of the new wearables, right? So Abigail wants to do something special and she's doing custom embroidery for winter gear. And again, she's just like, everything we do is Rhino level, right? Like, because we're Rhino. But 100% of those profits are going to our charity. And our charity of the month, we highlighted the other day. We want to go ahead and spend tomorrow showing you that because they'll all be completed. So let's just leave that there. But I do want to show you Rhinocoin. Not because I'm telling people to buy it, although you should, but, and no, I can't say that, right? I can't tell you, I can't give you advice on what to buy, what to sell. If I were you, I would, right? If I were you, I'd make the company and do it, right? So that shows how much I care. So everything that we spoke of before, remember we were talking about the supply and demand, and if these many transactions are happening and you knew this, then you could kind of predict what the coin would be worth. Like imagine if you knew how many weeks in duration the company was open, and imagine if you were able to see how many people come to the website, and imagine if you were able to know how many people attend the live meetings that we're doing, and how many people are on the platform, and how many businesses are on the platform, and what's the average revenue per year for all Rhino Marketplace companies, and what's the weekly transactional revenue for all marketplace companies, and how many members on the coin by having coin given to them, and how many investors actually purchase the coin, and what's the actual literal value of the coin if you took the weekly transaction amount divided by the supply, and what's the demand ratio, and what's the growth rate. If you knew all of that, could you predict the value of the coin? Yes and no, because that's not enough to do that. Because each one of these weeks has real growth statistics. These are all the real numbers of those weeks. And then the next week has all real numbers, which means if you compare the 2 weeks together, you have a trend, you have a growth rate. If you go ahead and compare 9 weeks in a row, you have a strong trend. You have strong statistics. You know your growth rate. If you had all those weeks, you calculated the previous growth rate, and then you extrapolated it out to the future growth rate, you can then say the following sentence. If Rhino grows as it's been growing, nothing goes up, nothing goes down, it just grows at the exact level it's growing, then by calculation of supply and demand, this coin should be worth this. Now you can't guarantee prices and stuff, but if you know the supply and if you know the demand and you know all the calculable rates, you should be able to predict or forecast a value of the coin within a reasonable certainty, within like 5 to 7% plus or minus. Well, we did all that for you. So what you'll see here is the managed market. Now, the coin was 1.5 cents. It is now currently 2 cents. In February, it'll be 3 cents. In March, it'll be 4 cents, so forth and so forth, until December comes around and it'll be 13 cents. That will be the last month that it's a managed price. What you'll see here with this red line is the date that's projected to no longer have any coin. Actually, so that moved. So let me do something real quick. No, why don't, when I try to be cool and press buttons quickly, it never works. So it looks like it's now moved to this week. And how do I know that? When I take the member coin plus the investor coin, it equals a number over $1 billion, which means we will run out of coin before this year's even up. Now, when you run out of coin, how do you know the demand ratio anymore, right? Okay, well, you're not selling any more coin in. How do you know how many people would be willing to buy it if you were selling it? Well, because we have all these numbers behind us and we have 56 straight weeks of how much demand has been on the member side and how much demand's been on the investor side, we could calculate with a reasonable certainty this much demand still exists. In fact, because we're not meeting this demand, it's being suppressed like a coiled spring, which means we can use that to calculate the future price of the coin because we know the buying behavior. Now, this green line right here represents January 2023, where the coin actually hits the market. With all these calculations, the coin's current projected value is $3.10. Now, mind you, this value is based on every line is based on the line before it. Every line is weekly lines. Therefore, until the week is over, the numbers on this line continue to increase, which means this number represents that today is Sunday and this week is over, which means between now and Sunday, we'll probably add a couple of members, right? Like we'll probably grow a little bit more. If that's the case, this number will continue to go up. And then this number is the value of the coin in January 2024. Now, how do all these numbers come to be, right? So we know where they're coming from. We know the growth rate in them, but let's play a game. Like, let's actually see it in real time. Not a game, but let's like show off a little bit. So this right here, the value of the coin in January 2024 is 22,142, right? 22,142. Okay. Well, as of right now, we have 571 members. Now, let's say we only had 100 members. Now, what I would like you to do is watch these numbers. Don't memorize them. There's a lot of them, but just watch them. You saw they all changed, right? So look down here, 22,142. Now let's change this number from 571 to 100. Remember 22,142? It's now $719. How did that happen? Well, every number, so let's do this, right? So this is the number of members. In any platform, the most important thing is the members, right? You can have the cure for cancer, but if you don't know anyone with cancer, you're bankrupt. So the number of members equals the projection of number of businesses, which equals the projections of the annual revenue, which equals the projections of the weekly revenue, which equals the projections of the month of the members that own the coin, which equals the projections of the investors that own the coin, which equals the projections of the actual demand ratio, the growth ratio, the value of the coin. All of that, take that, calculate it, give it a multiple of the previous calculations, then extrapolate that to the next line, to the next line, to the next line, and you'll find that this number equals this one, equals this one, equals this one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Therefore, when you change one number, everything changes because it's a living, breathing calculation based on all the important metrics that go ahead and calculate supply and demand. Therefore, our platform being so transparent that we all own it together, in real time, we all see where we're going. In doing so, it has allowed a lot of people to feel comfortable to buy the coin. As of right now, 22,047,105 coin has been purchased by investors. Investor being defined as a member that wants to purchase additional coin. In fact, when you take that and filter it down, that equals every member of Rhino has purchased, on average, $33 worth of coin every single week. Hold on a second. I had a call with Ron right now, and I'm going over. So let me see if he's on this. Of course, the one time Ron is not on this. All right, so let me just do one thing real quick. Where is it? Just bear with me 1 second. Let me just tell him I'll call him in 5 minutes. All right. And again, we always will go ahead and take the calls. No one has ever too busy for anyone in Rhino, right? Okay, so let me just move this and I'm going to try to finish up. The point being, everyone knows exactly what's going on when it's going. Now this page is right on the website, right? So let me go ahead and put that into the chat. You're literally on the Rhinocoin page on the website. Also on this page, now anything you buy, you could also sell. So say you want to sell the coin, your name, your last name, your email, the price you want to sell it at, look at all the prices. It's a managed market. You already know the price it's going to be. If you want to hold it past December, well, then you're taking the chances what it's going to be on the free market. But because we have all the numbers and because we're calculating the whole way through, that's not really that much of a risk, right? Like it is, but it's kind of not. And then once you click submit, that comes to me. That order then goes to that month. And the Rhino coin that comes in that month is then used to go ahead and fulfill your sale request. Plus we keep 150,000 in reserve to make sure that we can manage that market, right? So everyone is okay. Also, if you want to go ahead and see the Rhino Ledger, you can see, and this is updated every single day, everyone that owns the coin, how much coin they owned in November, December, January. You can see who the big holders are. And guys, the coolest thing about this is this goes for a while. There's a lot of people, right? So you could play with that later if you'd like. But let me end off on this. If you want to actually own the coin or purchase more, I'm copying the link, I'm putting it into the chat. I'm going to take a sip of water. If you could go ahead and click that, please, and we'll do it together, and then I got to run. And this is not actual Voss water. That's sink water, but it makes me feel better that's in the Voss bottle. All right, so get Rhinocoin. So here's the value of Rhinocoin. Like I said, it's a managed market, so you have the prices right here. 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents, 1 cent per month till December, 13 cents, January 2023 market price, right? X out of that. You can buy Rhinocoin in blocks of $100. It's $100 because if it's not comfortable for you to purchase $100 worth of coin, then your need of your funds is in greater need than a 1-year duration, right? Like we don't want to interfere in your living situation. So it's $100. That being said, $100 is not the recommended amount. First of all, there's no recommended amount, but you can see that over 22 million has been purchased. So as you can imagine, there's been many higher quantities than one quantity of 100. And that's what this is, right? So let's say you want to buy 1,000 worth, nothing big. 1, 0, 10, right? 1, 0, 10 quantity of 100 equals 1,000, so purchase. So you click purchase and it brings you over to the next page. This says 20 because I purchased 10 the other day, but go ahead and make sure that number is what you want it to be. So 10 times 100 equals 1,000, subtotal 1,000, right? If I may direct your attention to SSL Secure Shopping, this is the most secure way to do any financial transactions online. We're a little biased towards it, but because we had the option of picking whatever we wanted, and we picked this because it was the best. So when companies don't have this, we actually judge them, and that's okay. Go to checkout, you'll find where you can put your shipping details, your name, your address, your city, blah, blah, blah. Go to continue. Now, this is interesting. It's going to ask you for delivery method, standard shipping or express shipping, both of which make 0 sense because this is going to be emailed to you. But because we also do merchandise for our Rhino charity, that is where you would go ahead and select your shipping method. You know, every now and then I think I'm going to, oh my God. So I'm trying to drag something over. Okay. What you will receive is an email with the invoice of your purchase. And then in the first of every month, everyone receives an updated certificate of their Rhino coin ownership, because every month, whether you purchase coin or not, your ownership goes up 50 coin. So we want to make sure that you always have an updated ledger of your own coin. So you have our seal, certificate of ownership, your name, the amount of coin, my signature, fully certified, and the price of the coin. That will be yours. If you want a hard copy, just ask for it, not a problem at all. So you will receive that, go to continue. Payment is your payment information. Continue, review and place order. If it looks normal, it looks like what you want it, great. You will be on the ledger tomorrow morning, because anything done at this point, I have to take a call and then we have things the rest of the day, but it will be updated by tomorrow morning. But you will receive an immediate email from Stripe as an invoice confirmation, and from Rhino as an invoice confirmation and an introduction to who Rhino is. So I certainly, I can't say recommend, but if I was you, well, let me do this, right? This is what I will tell you. In 2 years from now, if we even come a tenth close to what we plan on doing, now, mind you, at the end of this, at the second half of this year, I'm going to be traveling the country, if not the globe, every single weekend, giving live presentations to audience in the thousands. I think you can see so far that I have a message, or we collectively have a message that's going to be receptive. But this is Anthony just talking off the cuff, right? This is Anthony talking from his heart. If Anthony is given the opportunity to speak in actual presentations, Anthony's presentation is going to be far more structured. Not, okay, my name is Anthony, but it's going to be speaking to everyone in such a fashion that the presentation is going to bring you from zero to hero, where everyone's going to be a part of Rhino. Everyone's going to want to put their business on Rhino. Everyone's going to want to accept the business from Rhino. Everyone's going to understand by being part of Rhino, we're building something together. And we actually have it within our own destiny that if everyone took action on this over the next year, everyone would be a millionaire by the end of the year. That's how simple it is. That's actually a guarantee. If everyone in the world said, I'm going to do this, everyone would actually be a billionaire. It's in our control, and it's my job to go ahead and share that with everyone. The point being, when we hit that, because if anyone at this point thinks I'm not going to, you're crazy. But when we hit that, you're going to say to me, oh my God, Ant, it was 2 cents. It's now like $20,000. I know, I bought a lot and I'm really happy about it, but if I could go back in time, I would buy more right now. And I would say, yeah, well, of course you would. But because I know that already, this is the back in time. This is the opportunity right now. Now you have this opportunity for the rest of the month, right? Like it's not going to change price until February 1st. So there's no pressure. There's no like, you better do it now. Like I'm not into that game. In fact, it would behoove us for people to save their purchases till June and July and August, where the coin's 6 cents, 7 cents, 8 cents. But for those that actually have the vision to see what's going on and see what's ahead of us, this is the moment. I mean, I don't know what else to say. So that's that. Everyone, let me run. I do have to go. I had a call with Ron at 3, and it's not me to be late. I just really thought he'd actually be on this and he would see that we're talking. So, you know, go figure, right? But absolutely love you. Have so much fun. Carl, enjoy your call with Abigail tomorrow. I saw that I have calls that came in, booked out for me. That's great. And totally cool. So love everyone. And I'll see you tomorrow at 12 a.m. 12 p.m. Not 12 a.m. If you're 12 a.m., I won't be here. All right. Bye, guys.